skull as a whole. We continue to study skull as a whole, and today we will talk about lateral aspect of the skull. Lateral aspect of the skull, which bones you can see here, which bones are presented here. You should know it for this moment and recognize them for this moment. So which bones you can see here? Frontal bone os frontale, parietal bone os parietale, sphenoidal bone os sphenoidale, temporal bone os temporale, zygomatic bone os zygomaticum, mandibula, mandibula, maxilla, maxilla. So all these bones will form the lateral aspect of the skull. On the lateral aspect of the skull, you can see three fossas. This is temporal fossa, fossa temporalis, infratemporal fossa, fossa infratemporalis, and pterygopalatine fossa, fossa pterygopalatina. Temporal fossa, fossa temporalis, superior border, temporal line of the frontal bone, linea temporalis, ossis frontalis, superior temporal line of the parietal bone, linea temporalis superior, ossis parietalis. Inferior border, it is a zygomatic arc, arcus zygomaticus, and infratemporal crest of the greater vein of the sphenoidal bone, crista infratemporalis, alia majoris, ossis sphenoidalis. Temporal fossa has two walls. This is the anterior wall, this is the medial wall. Paries anterior, paries medialis. Anterior wall is formed by the zygomatic process of the frontal bone, processus zygomaticus ossis frontalis, and temporal surface of the zygomatic bone, facies temporalis ossis zygomatici. Medial wall is formed by the temporal surface of the frontal bone, facies temporalis ossis frontalis, temporal surface of the greater vein of the sphenoidal bone, facies temporalis alia majoris ossis sphenoidalis, squamous margin of the parietal bone, margo squamosus ossis parietalis, and external surface of the temporal bone, facies externa ossis temporalis. This fossa has following connections. It communicates with the infratemporal fossa via this big opening, gap, medially to the zygomatic arch. Also, it communicates with the orbit. When you study the zygomatic bone, you should remember zygomatica orbital foramen, zygomatica facial foramen, and zygomatica temporal foramen. So by these openings, temporal fossa will connect to the orbit and lateral region of the face. Infratemporal fossa, fossa infratemporalis, borders, superior border zygomatic arch, arcus zygomaticus, and infratemporal crest of the greater vein of the sphenoidal bone, crista infratemporalis alia majoris ossis sphenoidalis. Inferior border is the external cranial base, basis cranii externa. This fossa has four walls. Lateral wall is presented by the ramus of mandibula, ramus mandibulae. Also, it has superior wall, which is formed by the infratemporal surface of the greater vein of the sphenoidal bone, facies infratemporalis alia majoris ossis sphenoidalis. Anterior wall is formed by infratemporal surface of the maxilla, facies infratemporalis maxillae. And medial wall is formed by the lateral plate of the pterygoid process of the sphenoidal bone, lamina lateralis, processus pterygoideus, ossis sphenoidalis. Communications of infratemporal fossa. Via this big gap, it communicates with the temporal fossa. Via the lateral portion of the inferior orbital fissure, it communicates with the orbit. Via pterygomaxillary fissure, this fissure, it communicates with the pterygopalatine fossa. And via foramen ovale, it communicates with the mediocranial fossa, fossa cranii media. Pterygopalatine fossa, fossa pterygopalatina. Here, is located between pterygoid process of the sphenoidal bone and tuber maxilla. Pterygopalatine fossa. Medial wall of this fossa is formed by the vertical plate of the palatine bone, lamina verticalis ossis palatini, with medial wall, parius medialis. Anterior wall is formed by the tuber maxillae. Posterior wall, pterygoid process of the sphenoidal bone, processus pterygoidus ossis sphenoidalis, and superior wall, body of the sphenoidal bone, corpus sphenoidalis. This fossa has 6 communications. First one, via foramen rotundum with the medial cranial fossa, via medial portion of inferior orbital fissure with the orbit, via sphenopalatine foramen with the nasal cavity, foramen sphenopalatinum, via greater palatine canal, canalis palatinus major, with the oral cavity, via pterygoid canal, canalis pterygoideus, with the external cranial base region of foramen lacerum, and via pterygomaxillary fissure with the infratemporal fossa. That's all.